Oh, I didn't see you there. Welcome. So I did have like other things planned, but obviously none of it's gonna go through because the first day of spring break, I decide I'm gonna get myself some roller skates. You know, I really want to invest in the hobby. It just seems like a good idea. And I'm skating outside. I'm having a good time. And I sprain my wrist. I fall back and I sprain my wrist. And I'm like, shit, dude. Anyways, I've been sitting on top of this script for like a hot second now. A hot second being 3 years, of course. And I decided that, why not I give it a go? I already recorded all of the filming segments, but I actually hated the way it looked in them. So I'm just refilming it again, in a better place. A better place. Now I know this is not like one of those art videos I usually do, but just like hang in with me here, because I know that this is gonna talk to like a very niche audience of mine. I want to talk about it because it's currently some of my favorite music ever. Even just on like the first listen of this EP, I was absolutely bodied by emotions that I could not quite put my finger on. So I wanted to do a deep dive, really just use my AP English Lang credit to like the best of my ability, because Lord knows I'm not going to use it in college. And Sparky Deathcap, I'm going to be calling him Taylor, last name, in this video. Taylor seems to like express the emotions that I had a hard time explaining, and he does it through beautifully written lyrics and amazingly written music. So, as an homage, I'm going to be going through each of the songs, talking about specific parts that I found a little bit interesting, and then I'm going to be wrapping it all up in a nice bow at the end, and hopefully, by the end of it, you are as invested in Sparky Deathcap as I am. So join me. Welcome to Sparky Deathcap's Guide to Emotions, the Tear Jerky EP. But before that, Wilbur Soot did me a disservice. You see this man? He did me a disservice, okay? I hop on Wilbur Soot's stream for the first time. I'm vibing. The song I hear is... And I was like, shit, man, that's good. It's my favorite mix of, like, folky and indie. Like, somebody filmed this in their basement. And as much as this song is, like, folk, it is very indie. I mean, just, like... wow, that's a little bit out there, but it's very good. However, when I learned that this was in fact the third track of the EP, it all clicked into place. You're not supposed to listen to it out of order. So, with that, Sparky Deathcap is the name of an English band created by Robert Taylor that was separate from the other English band, Los Campesinos! The band itself was active from about 2008 to 2010 from what I can tell from my internet research, but my internet research is very poor, so the EP that I'm choosing to focus on today, because he has released multiple and then just like disappeared off the face of the planet, is Tear Jerky, that was released October 21st, 2009. And yes, writing this I am realizing that I am 13 fucking years late to this. Amazing. But nonetheless, hold on, the script is kicking in. Okay, here is the first song. Something I want to make very clear about the first song is that it just doesn't come out swinging like you think it would. It leads you in with what I assume to be long whole notes woodwinds, and after the fade-in dial-up tone that is soon replaced by pizzicato strings, you get into the lyrics. And boy howdy are they sure lyrics. Something to note about all of the songs on this EP is that they are not built like your average pop song. I just think that this song is a little bit funny because it has like 2 verses, 1 chorus, and nothing else. Like I said before, Your Honor, it is built different. This does not hinder the song in any way, however. The reason I call this song the intro of all intros is because it gets done what it's supposed to do. It's essentially introducing the style, the lyricism, the musicianship that we're gonna be seeing for the rest of the EP. Story-wise, it opens up with a disappointing phone call that we hear through the disconnected phone call tone. get it. Inspecting the lyrics a little bit more, we find out that although he never overtly said that he missed his partner, it's still disappointing when he learns that they have been hanging out with another person while Taylor has been away traveling. The final line of the song is, "And the staff here are starting to recognize me." And don't worry, we'll get back to this line, it's very important. Overall, the song is a great leap into Sparky Deathcap's Tear Jerky, and it opens up the story as one of miscommunication. Chord progression itself is almost non-existent. Even the last chord itself is not in the original key of what the song started out in. It doesn't like resolve in some fantastic Picardy third. No, instead it leads you into the next song, which is Winter City Ghost. Now, this is when we get into the real I'm taking some liberties. Okay, so this song is amazing for the one reason that Robert Taylor manages to make dial-up tones sound good in music. Those discordant little boys that are so frequent in horror movies. Jumping off the intro of the last song, we settle into a nice slower 4/4 time with these like kind of off-sounding drum beats hitting the off beat of each. Don't judge the way I conduct. Making it sound like a droning march, which is exactly what this song can be described as. So, snap back to reality. Whoop, there goes gravity. We're in the past now, and it feels like Taylor is observing the city as he's forced to walk with his partner in time to the beat, and it feels exhausting and sad, in all honesty, especially when paired with the lyrics. Now, I would just like to state how well Taylor's voice is suited to this music. It sounds like his voice is supposed to be in time with the guitar and the drums in the background. Besides that, there are 12 fucking verses in this goddamn song. Holy fuck. We open on a scene between Taylor and his partner and the supposed walls that seem to have grown around his partner's city overnight, making Taylor feel trapped. Taylor specifically uses inclusive diction to try and make it as though the listener is in Taylor's shoes. Now, my working theory is that Taylor is the Winter City Ghost. That also might just be like Winter City might mean something that I have no idea. Obviously he isn't from here because he doesn't know anyone in the city, and he seems to be trapped by like an oppressive relationship with his partner. And later in the EP we learned that the Winter City might be Oslo, Norway? Maybe! However, back to the fucking dial-up tone. As the theme of communication is prevalent throughout this EP, Taylor manages to weave the dissonant chords of a dial-up tone throughout the music. It represents so much unreached distance at the same time that it is almost haunting. Something of interest I also found is that Taylor probably plays the mandolin. Now, I can only guess this because at the end of Winter City Ghosts, he plays the electric guitar and it's going back and forth on the same note, and it almost sounds like mandolin strumming. Now, these were all suspicions at first, and then I heard him actually use a mandolin later in September, and I was like, oh, thank you, Taylor. Mandolins need to be appreciated more in modern music. Personal opinion. It's the right opinion, of course, but personal opinion. Now, for the song you were all waiting for. September. Spicy. My favorite flavor of breakup songs. Now, there's no good way to get around this. This song is about being cheated on. It's one of the most soul-destroying things that can happen in a relationship. Following the themes of the previous songs of being just absolutely batshit crazy, this song has 3 verses and 1 chorus, in that order. This is the song where we start to see the breakdown in the relationship, and we get to see Taylor reflect on his vagabond lifestyle, and also reflect on the fact that he wants to beat the guy that he was cheated on with to a bloody pulp. So, Taylor just like really pulls out all of the stops on this song, and it's very good. But back into the lyrics themselves, they really just demonstrate the all-encompassing rage, betrayal, and most importantly, desperation that you can feel, especially during a time in a relationship like this. Something that originally threw me off when I first listened to this song was the seemingly random percussion that Taylor just managed to sprinkle into the song. It's all in time, however, Taylor manages to use the offbeats to once again show a sense of uncomfortableness. This feeling is also brought in by the syncopation of the half notes at the beginning, and it really just adds to the feeling of, what the hell's going on? This entire song in itself is extremely atmospheric, and Taylor definitely utilizes the volume of the instruments to just create this all-encompassing feeling and experience when you listen to this song. The anger, of course, couldn't be portrayed in this song, however, without the lyrics. We open with a confession from the partner that Taylor had been cheated on with this guy named King Christo, who's another musician. And he just sounds so tired and resigned when he sings it. We also get a callback to Winter City Ghosts when Taylor says he really would have moved out to be there with his partner. And this is where we get the first confusion. Obviously, Taylor didn't want to live in the city. He already told you about that in an entire 5-minute song. So I don't really believe him when he says he would have moved out there to be with you, because no, he wouldn't. Even if Taylor wasn't cheated on, he's looking at all of this through hindsight. In hindsight 2020, 2020 was a bad year, so hindsight bad. At the chorus, Taylor finally crumbles and screams how he feels about the situation. After expressing his hate for the other man, he also expresses his hate for his partner. He and his partner went from being a happy relationship to being each other's fire starters. They were destructive together and destructive for each other, and he finally laments on this in the final lines of the song. This fallout details the anger and betrayal that Taylor felt, and the thoughts that he thought anyways, but he would never act on. It's soul-crushing and righteous and exhausting in every way. Because what else would you do in that situation? And that's what leads us into the next song. Berlin Syndrome. The fourth stage of grief. Depression. The huge tone shift that I heard from this song and September gave me whiplash the first time I heard to it. While there are many interpretations of this song, I personally see it as the first interaction between him and his ex-partner. How it was never really as perfect as he wanted it to be. I think it also goes into and details what he's done since the breakup. The song itself is a continuous finger-picking pattern that is so pretty, and I cannot find tabs for it, and it is so upsetting. The only thing I could find was a GIF on Tumblr from 2011. Anyways, this song is relatively simple in composition compared to things like September and Glasgow as a punk rock town, but it gets the job done just as effectively. Don't worry your heads. This is the necessary low that needs to be felt after the soul fire of the previous song. It's, like after Casito was destroyed in Encanto, and we get the scene of Mirabelle just kind of sitting there in the rubble. Also, the sweeping, ethereal fucking voices that Taylor used will put me to sleep any day, and I need you to listen to this song. The lyrics also, in my opinion, in this song are best written, and naturally they would be, as it's a song about reflection. It starts off about how Taylor first met his partner at a train station in Berlin, and how the staff not noticing him, and the staff here are starting to recognize me. And he reflects on his partner and how he first met them and how they were incredibly homesick. And this is where we see the first cracks in the relationship, because this is a dichotomy that cannot exist together. His partner does not lead the same lifestyle as him. His partner was very uncomfortable about leaving their loved ones, and despite this, they travel Germany together and they have a pretty good time too. This is how the relationship came to be. Now, neither of them were good at the relationship, and Taylor knew it would end at some point, but he still wanted to give it the chance. The last two verses of the song are dedicated to the now, and how he has nightmares about his partner, but he also simultaneously wants them back. I personally have never heard a song that communicates this so well. The deep, empty want in somebody's chest after a relationship. Between the amazing musicianship of this song and also the amazing lyrics, overall, Berlin Syndrome, 10 out of 10. Also, this song has my favorite lyric, and the first time I heard it, I almost cried while I was going to a restaurant with my family. And that leads us into Send It to Oslo, Getting Over It. This is it, the final reflection. We've made this journey thus far. welcome to the end. Contrasting the previous songs, this song picks up its pace in the best way possible. It is the final hurrah, the last fuck you, the ending lament. Now, originally, the first time I heard this, I was a little bit thrown off, but that's because I didn't listen to the songs in order. It starts off with dragging double stops on the violin. Obviously, it's performed by a fiddle player, and in hindsight, it adds to the piece overall. And I don't think I could listen to this and feel the same if it was a nice, smooth violin. Please somebody get Robert Taylor some rosin. The vocalization, the themes, and the instrument from the first song carry over into the end, and that's why I called the first one the intro, and this is the nice Picardy third to close it all off. Where Glasgow didn't resolve, Oslo does, and it manages to resolve the entire EP. Not to mention, it uses a mandolin again. The punkish yelling is amazing, and it suits the tone entirely, and I'm happy to report that this song almost is normal in the fact that it goes verse, chorus, outro. Go team! You can tell that Taylor has gotten past the crushing weight of a failed relationship and is now saying his final goodbyes to the Tear Jerky EP. You can tell that he's acknowledging that yes, these shitty things happened to him, but he's not lingering on it because he has places to be, people to see, and he's still a vagabond at heart. And he can't afford to have himself be tethered to these emotions if he still wants to remain happy and free. At one point, he wished his partner dead. At one point, he wanted to meet his partner's father. All of these are fast-passing memories amongst the verses, and really it's just a final goodbye. Instead, he focuses on what he's learned. He's learned that he changes, but he's never going to change in the pursuit of others. Even though people change, he's still in control of himself and his own destination. Contrasted to the previous 4 songs, this song finally releases the tension. There's no direct references to his partner, and it's almost gratifying in the way that he lets go and he realizes that he's happier now and that he's going to keep moving. Overall, I am happy to say that the last chord of this song resolves. So what now? While Sparky Deathcap has released more music other than the Tear Jerky EP, such as Let's Build a Fire EP, they were never really as big as the Tear Jerky EP. I'm taking a lot of liberties here using the word big, by the way. Since 2010, there has been radio silence, from what I can tell. All I was able to find was this interview. Robert Taylor talks about the EP, and turns out the Tear Jerky EP was just 5 of his favorite songs. There was no correlation whatsoever. Man, so this entire video was entirely speculation. Great! But it was speculation with a purpose, because now that you know of the Tear Jerky EP, you'll be able to go listen to it. And then I can listen to it. Then we can listen to it. The entire thing is all on YouTube and SoundCloud and nowhere else because fuck you. But that can change if we blow this up. So go, give it some time. Maybe you'll carve your own meaning from the lyrics like I have done so, apparently. Thank you for watching, and I hope you give Tear Jerky by Sparky Deathcap a listen. Also, not being subscribed to me is a war crime at worst and a tragedy at best. So, avoid international conventions by clicking that little red button. I'll see you later.